So this week's build of the week goes to the Oliver Twist AKM. Now this gun, the AKM in general, when I first started playing Tarkov, it was my favorite gun. I don't know what it was, 7.62, I always liked it. But this gun is called Oliver Twist because it's so cheap to build that anyone can really build it, even if they're super poor. And the best thing about it is the vertical recoil is 74, I think. Yeah, 74, and it has 59 ergonomics, and you can build this gun for under 100K. Let's go. Let's talk about the build, and I'll show you how to do it. I shouldn't sit here and tell you 100K is not a lot of money for a gun. I don't know where you are in your Tarkov journey, and let's be honest, for a lot of people, 100K is a lot of money for a gun. But if you look at the stats on this, 100K is really not bad for the stats on this gun. Let's be honest. You're looking at 175 horizontal, 74 vertical recoil, and 59 ergonomics. And we could get the ergonomics to about 62 for an extra 5,000. I just didn't add it on this build because I was looking to make it as low as possible. And also 59 ergo still, I think, plenty of ergo. Like, you don't need that +3, but I will show you how to do that. Either way, 100K, yes, it's a lot of money for some people, but for a lot of people, it's actually just a good price point for a gun that's actually super good. Now, you might be looking at this build and you might be saying, hey Geeks, there's a lot of parts I can't buy from the dealers. And I'll go through the build in 2 minutes here, but I need you to stay with me because I'm going to tell you why I picked every single part. As long as you have the flea market available, it's still under 100K, roughly, I would say 90% of the time. You can still build this gun for under 100K, even if you have to get most of these parts from the flea market. Yeah, I'll show you the build and then let me talk about it afterwards, okay? I'll go through everything afterwards, but I'll show you the build first. So the first thing we're going to need to get is the AKM itself, right? So we do need to just buy a general AKM, and I want you to buy it brand new, so it's 100 out of 100 durability. Don't get ripped off from the flea market. Now, to buy it from Prapper, you can buy it, I think, from level 2 Prapper, the AKM, right? The AKM's level 2 Prapper for 43,000 rubles. But here's the thing, at level 1 Prapper, you can get one for 3 Tashanka. And like I said, if you're going to do this build, you're going to need the flea market. Unlocked anyways. So this is the best way to get AKMs, you guys. You're going to want to go buy 3 Tashankas. So 3 Tashankas right now is roughly 32,000, roughly, maybe 31,000. Sometimes you can get Tashankas for about 9,000 a piece. So it fluctuates between 9,000 and 11,000. But again, you're saving a lot of money because Prapper is selling it for 43,000, when if you do the barter, it's roughly 30 to 34,000. There's not many attachments actually for this gun. It's only 6 aside from the gun itself. So let's go through them right now. The first thing you're going to need is the recoil pad from Prapper level 2. You'll also need the Bastion dust cover. This is going to come from Skier level 1. You will need the Magpul M-Lock AFG tactical foregrip. You can get any color, but the one I picked is Peacekeeper level 3, and we'll talk more about this after this little breakdown because this is one of the things I want to talk about. The next thing we're going to need is the pistol grip. It's the AK KGB. Now, it is flea market only, but to be honest, I've never really seen this thing above 13,000 rubles. Generally, I see it anywhere from 9,000 to the highest is about 1250. And it has really good stats for the price point. So grab it if you can. If not, replace it with something that you can afford or that is available to you. Now, this Skier level 4 item, the AK Landtech Draken, this is 14,000 from Skier level 4, but it's the second best muzzle brake for the AKM, and it's super cheap on the flea market. So I'll explain that after this, but it is from Skier level 4. And then we also have the AK Magpul MOE AKM handguard. It's the FDE version. This is going to be from Peacekeeper level 2. Now, let me break down why I chose some of these parts and just tell you some pros and cons of this gun. So from that build list, you can see that it was actually 57,500 to get all the parts from dealers. The AKM's roughly 30 to 32,000. So if you have all the dealers unlocked and everything like that, the build's at 90,000 rubles. But you might not have everyone unlocked, and it's still super cheap. And let me show you why I chose these parts. So now this is probably one of the highest leveled parts you need, meaning, you need skier level 4 to get the AK land tech. But why I chose it was not only is it the second best muzzle brake, so it really helps your recoil here, but the premium version, meaning if you can't get it from skier and you have to get it from the flea market, the premium you have to pay is like nothing. Like right now it's 14,000 from skier, okay, but if you're getting it from Dami here, you only have to pay like an extra 3,000 rubles, and it really doesn't go up much than that. I would say the most you're going to be paying is about 19,000. So you're going to be paying 5,000 extra than if you just had skier unlocked. And I don't think that is that bad for such a premium muzzle brake, to be honest. There is a reason why I specifically chose the MOE handguard here and also the AFG M-Lock foregrip. And that's because they all come in different colors, which makes them, I would say, like, it makes more of them to be available on the flea market, and then you're going to be able to choose which one's the cheapest. You're going to have more options to be like, okay, if I can't buy it from the dealer on the flea market, it's fairly cheap, right? So the first thing we're going to look at is the M-Lock, the AFG M-Lock on the flea market. So as you can see here, 28,000 for the stealth gray one. The drab, the olive drab one's 19. The FDE one is looking like 17.5, and the black one is 23,000. Now, usually the olive one, I would say, and the FDE one are the ones that are fluctuating in the best prices. Right now, it's actually quite high because it is in the evening. It's later in the evening, but 17.5. It's still not that bad of a price point, but it's still, I'm usually looking at picking these up for, I usually pick them up for 13 to 14,000 off the flea market. That's what I've been seeing them go as, 13 to 15, I would say. Not too much of a premium you have to pay if you can't get it from the dealer, but it's still a little bit more. Now, same thing goes with the handguard, and actually the handguard, I will tell you this, the handguard is 100% cheaper from the flea market than the dealer always. So you are going to be able to get the Magpul MOE handguards here in different colors. And usually they are cheaper than the dealer. Hold on, where are they here? There they are. So this one, Peacekeeper, okay, stealth gray. Peacekeeper still the cheapest. The plum one still cheap. Oh, look at this, olive drab. If you wanted to get it from skier, it's 157. You can actually get it for 12.2, which is awesome. The FDE, again, cheaper than if you wanted to get it from Peacekeeper, and cheaper than the stealth gray one also. And then the black one, it's still cheaper than skier, but you're looking at the olive drab, the FDE, the olive drab, 12,000 for a handguard. Fantastic. So that's why I picked those three different items that you are going to have to grab maybe from the flea market. But if you don't, such a cheap gun. Now, I will warn you about this gun. The muzzle brake we're using is a muzzle brake, right? It's not a suppressor, which means every time you shoot this gun off, everyone's going to hear the dinner bell and come running at you. This time in Tarkov right now is a time when everyone's doing tasking and they're focusing on it, and they have a lot of tasks probably to kill other PMCs. So just be very wary of that if you are using this gun to kill some scavs, make sure you reposition or know that there is a good chance for someone to be hunting you down now. And yeah, every time you fire a loud gun, just know that it's like setting off the dinner bell, which could be used actually to your advantage if you think about it that way. But I just want to tell you, the con of this gun is that it doesn't have a suppressor, but the pro of the gun is it doesn't have a suppressor, and it has really good recoil because of that. So there is a little give and take with having that. So that's the gun build of this week. I already have next week's in my head. It's going to be a goodie, but try this one out. Let me know what you think of it. You know, it's pretty cheap to just try out at least, and it's going to be up to you whether or not you want to put, I would say, a long range scope on it, and like a TAC 30 or a Validate or something close range. I don't like telling people what scope to use with builds a lot, because I find that it's all preference based, right? You might love the Validate and I hate the Validate, or you might love, you get what my point is. I don't like to tell you what sights to use, because it's just, I feel like it's a very big preference thing. I will say this about this gun though, is if you use a Validate or a TAC 30 or something, that just know that all AKs right now have such big recoil jumps the first like 3 to 5 bullets. So just be prepared for that. To be honest, when I'm using this gun, I'm using it this way. I'll show you. I actually really like this Cobra sight. I know not everyone likes it, but the Cobra sight plus the shade on there, it's fantastic. It gives you +1 ergo actually, and I just think it's a clean sight. I really do enjoy it, and it's fairly cheap. Now, if you want, like I said, you could put the Validate on there. You can do whatever you want. Like, it's up to you, but just try out whatever you want, right? The last thing I will say about the build though is you can get some extra ergo on it if you want. If you get the CSS or the RP1, you can get +1 or +3. And then the other thing I didn't add was a flashlight, which is fairly cheap. You know, you can just add this and then the X400 or whatever you want, but this build didn't have a flashlight. I was trying to make it as cheap as possible, but the flashlight will only cost you roughly, I would say, like 10 grand. But try the build out. Next week's build's already, like, I have it in my mind. I think it's going to be a goodie, but try the Oliver twist. I want to know what you think about it. And thank you so much. If you liked the video, give it a thumbs up. If you like this series so far, again, let me know in the comments below. It'd mean a lot to me. And if you haven't, subscribe to the channel. It's free for you guys, but it means the world to me. And until next week's build, I'll talk to everyone later.